Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to make a video about my complete experience not finding a gender. I am joined by Miss B. She's trying to take a nap on my arm right now. I've been rocking her to sleep for a little bit and I kind of don't want to put her down because I'm afraid she's going to wake up. So I'm just going to do this video with her. With my first pregnancy, we did find a gender because I personally thought it was easier. Rob did not want to find a gender at that point either. But I just thought it was more practical about buying clothes and decorating the nursery and stuff like that. So we found out he was a boy. And then when I got pregnant with, or we got pregnant with baby number 2, Rob was very certain that this time around he did not want to find a gender. And all of my previous reasons kind of didn't make sense because we had some gender neutral outfits. All of our big items were already purchased and that were gender neutral as well. So if it was a girl, then it would just be a quick trip to the store and buy some good girl outfits, and that was it. So yeah, I didn't really have any reasons to not find out a gender or to do find out a gender. And the first half of my pregnancy, that was really hard because there wasn't that much for me to connect with the baby. The baby didn't move that much. I didn't feel it. I don't know, we didn't have to like make a nursery, or I didn't get to buy any clothes or whatever. I don't know, like it was really hard for me to connect with that. And like feel like I actually was growing a person other than just like getting big. And when we had my anatomy scan at 20 weeks, I was really tempted to look or to have her write down and put it in an envelope so I could read on later. But I knew that was going to be like not Rob's ideal situation. Like he really wanted both of us to be surprised at the birth. So that's the only reason why I didn't. And I got challenged like a week later because my sister was due 2 days before me and she had her anatomy scan and she found out she was having a girl. And I was like, oh my god, now I so want to know what I'm going to have. And I threw myself a little bit party. And then I decided to go and look into reasons why other people weren't finding out the gender other than just having a surprise at birth. And I made a separate video about that and I'll link that somewhere over here. And the main reason I thought is that you tend to label when you know the gender, and that's completely true. When I was pregnant with Logan and we knew it was going to be a boy, I expected this noise with dirt on it, like the Pinterest sign you always see. Like that's what I expected. I expected this tomboy that was going to climb on everything, that was going to like roughhouse. And yes, he is a very boy where he plays with cars and like balls are his favorite, and he climbs on the table and he throws with stuff, and he's a really boyish boy. But it doesn't have to be that way. Like I know boys that are not that way. And the other reason that I found was that people are going to be like, if you already have a boy and this would be another boy, then people will be like, oh wow, I'm sorry, maybe it's going to be a girl next time. Are you going to try for a girl next time or something like that? Or if you're going to have a girl, then people can say, oh, that's so great, you have one of each. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that either. And personally for me, the biggest reason to not find a gender after I did some research on it was if you have a slight preference. And that's definitely what I had. I really badly wanted to have a girl. Like my preference would be a girl, and I would have been perfectly happy and content and like fine and whatever with a boy. But if I could have picked a gender, it would have been a girl. And one of the reasons I found is if you don't know the gender and you have a slight preference, it all doesn't matter like once the baby's here, because you have your baby. You don't care if it's a boy or girl, you just care if it's healthy and it's here, so who cares? And in hindsight, that's very true. But looking back at my pregnancy, definitely the last 3 months of it, so I think like from 26 weeks on, so like something like that, it stopped mattering. It just really did stop mattering. I didn't really think about it all the time, like what it's going to be a boy, what's going to be a girl. I just thought like it has to be healthy. And we were preparing for a baby. And I could definitely tell more and more of the baby's personality. Like it was such a big difference. Logan was a very mellow baby in the womb. I felt him, and if I felt him, I felt him strongly. But he was always making like lazy movements, and he was very chill, and I barely noticed any mood changes with him. And with my second pregnancy, I completely was shocked with how much this baby moved and how strong and how like almost violent those movements were. And you could tell different moods. Like I could tell when the baby was being happy, or when the baby was being annoyed, or when the baby was like, could you just for 1 second not walk, or something like that. That's how I constantly felt. Like the baby had an opinion about everything. And that's what made me very strongly believe that it was a girl. Like I was like, this is such a little like bitchy baby. Like it's such a, I don't know how to explain it. It was such a, I felt that this baby was a very strongly, has a very strong personality, and for me, strong personalities always sit with a girl. So I don't know, like that's why I thought it was a girl, and at some point I couldn't imagine not being a girl. And because we didn't know the gender, I did buy a few like bows, and I think about like 2 outfits just in case it was a girl, and that made me feel like content, like, oh well, we'll always bring the gender news real close to the hospital or packing the hospital bag. And if it's a girl, then I can easily swap and put her into something else. And if it's a boy, then who cares? So we have enough clothes already if it was going to be a boy. And honestly, the last few weeks of my pregnancy, I did not care. I had prodromal labor for 10 days. And none of those days came across my mind like, oh my god, I hope this is it so I can find out the gender. No. I hope it was it so I could finally be done being pregnant, but I didn't really... The gender did not once cross my mind in those last 10 days. And then 2 days before I gave birth, my sister went into labor and she had a girl. And at that point, everything kind of came rushing back for like an hour. I was like, oh, what if I'm having a boy right now? What if I'm having a girl? Like, it just came back for like a little bit because it kind of just got triggered because I saw like a baby girl, like a newborn baby girl. And I was like still in prodromal labor, so... I think like everything, like hormonally and just your body being that exhausted and still not knowing your gender kind of just like played out. And then for like an afternoon I was like, I'm so done and I just want to know if I'm gonna have my girl or not. And 2 days later I went into labor, and I did not for once think like, oh, this contraction is gonna bring me closer to knowing if I'm gonna have a boy or a girl. None of it. The only part when I got reminded of it was when the nurse asked, are you going to have a boy or a girl? And we had to say, we don't know. And they had to put out 2 of the newborn bracelets. So they had the blue bracelet and they had the pink bracelet. And that was it. And other than that, I did not think about that. So the most special part about not knowing the gender is when you finally do know the gender. And when the baby was put on my chest after birth, we were drying it off. And I just kept remember saying, I did it. I did it. I did it. Because I wanted to have a medication-free birth. And that's what I got. And I was so happy, like, oh my god, I did it. And then the midwife said something to Rob, and he's like, so what is it? And she was like, you guys don't know the gender? And she like picked the baby up and she made me look at it. She's like, you go look. And I saw the baby's face, and I already had like an idea of what the baby's personality was gonna be like because she was in my womb for like 9 months. And I'm looking at those parts and be like, those are girl parts, right? That's a girl, right? Like that happened. I said that like 5 or 6 times, so someone said, yes, she's a girl. Like, oh my god. I couldn't believe that after for 9 months wanting a girl and thinking it was going to be a girl, it was actually a girl. Like that moment is like such an amazing moment, and I would want everyone to experience that. I'm like, that is so amazing. And you know, after that we had to pick her name and we had to call people, and they were like, oh my god, the baby's here. And then you could hear people like, yeah, that's very nice, but what is it? You know, everyone was like so excited to like know the gender. And in the end, my stepmom went to the store and she bought me a whole bag. Like she completely wiped out that store of anything pink for the first size. So that was amazing. And I would recommend this to anyone. Like, it took me a good month or so to get used to the fact that she's a girl. And I feel like, oh yeah, the baby, what is it? I'm like, oh yeah, it's a girl. Like it took me a while to like realize that I'm having a girl. And I don't know, like I so recommend this to anyone because I feel like you get to know your baby before you label it and think like about ballet lessons or pink tutu skirts or whatever. You know, you get to actually enjoy your baby before you have like this entire future planned out for them. And if you would ever have baby number 3, then yes, we will not find out the gender either. I right now don't even know why I found to find out the gender of Logan. Like, it is so special, and it is so making you connected to your baby on a deeper level than if you already know the gender for like 20 weeks. And then you have to like readjust like everything, and now you go in the birth completely blank, which was really nice and it's really special. And yeah, I completely never like, if anyone asks like, do you think you should find a gender? No, don't find a gender, because it is so special to find a gender when this baby's born. And yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way anymore. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, leave us in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys for our next video. Bye. Say bye.